Welcome back, everybody. Ready to dive into some more fascinating corporate insights?
Always. What have we got today?
Well, today we're going behind the scenes at Banco Products India Ltd. We've got excerpts from their 63rd annual report for the fiscal year 2023-2024.
Nice.
And trust me, this is not your typical dry financial report.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah,
It seems like more and more companies are using these reports to tell their story.
exactly.
It's actually a fascinating glimpse into how a global manufacturing company operates.
Yeah.
Everything from their financial performance to their approach to corporate governance and beyond.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, can you give us a quick overview of what Banco Products actually does?
Sure.
I have to admit, I'm not that familiar with them.
Yeah, so they specialize in heat transfer products.
Okay.
Things like heat exchangers and cooling systems. These are essential components for a wide range of industries.
Right.
So their reach is pretty broad.
And speaking of reach, the report mentions they have a subsidiary in the Netherlands along with others that contribute to their global business. It sounds like they're not just a small local player.
Definitely not. Their last fiscal year was quite strong.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they achieved sales of 992 crores,
Wow.
which translates to roughly $135 million for our international listeners.
Okay.
Their profit after tax was 255 crores, or about $35 million.
So they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. But here's what I found interesting. Domestic sales actually saw a slight increase.
Really?
Yeah, while export sales held steady despite all the global competition we've seen lately.
So they're managing to hold their own in a tough market. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Now, the report also mentions their upcoming 63rd annual general meeting, or AGM.
Right.
What's the significance of this meeting for listeners who might not be familiar with the corporate world?
So the AGM, it's a chance for shareholders to get a direct look at the company's performance and plans for the future. They can vote on important matters like the appointment of directors and auditors, and they can also raise questions directly to the management team.
Got it.
It's a key element of corporate transparency.
And it looks like Banco is trying to make this AGM as accessible as possible.
Yes.
They're doing a hybrid approach with both virtual and in-person attendance.
Interesting.
That seems pretty ambitious given the potential for tech issues.
Yeah, it definitely highlights the challenges of connecting with a global shareholder base in today's world.
Yeah.
The report even acknowledges that they've had to set a limit on virtual attendance due to potential bandwidth constraints.
Wow. So they're really trying to get as many people as possible.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if this is a trend we'll see more of as companies try to strike a balance between inclusivity and practicality.
I think so. It's a tough one.
It is.
You want to be inclusive,
Yeah.
but you also have to be realistic about what's possible.
It's like they're trying to bridge the gap between the traditional way of doing things
Right.
and the need to adapt to a more digital world.
Exactly.
But what about shareholders who can't attend either in person or virtually?
Good question.
How can they make your voices heard?
That's where the e-voting process comes in.
Okay.
The report outlines how shareholders can cast their votes electronically regardless of whether they were able to attend the meeting.
So it's all laid out in the report.
Yeah, it's all there.
Okay.
It's a way of ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in key decisions.
So it's like a digital proxy system.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty forward thinking. Now, beyond the logistics of the AGM, the report also highlights some key personnel changes.
Yes.
What stood out to you?
Well, one of the directors, Paint Hamali H. Patel,
Okay.
she is retiring by rotation, but she's eligible
Uh-huh.
and has offered herself for reappointment. It'll be interesting to see how the shareholders vote on that.
It's like a mini election within the company.
It is, and it raises the question of how companies balance experience with the need for fresh perspectives on the board.
And speaking of important roles, the report also mentions the reappointment of the statutory auditors.
Yes.
Mrs. Pariksha Chotalia and Associates. Why are auditors so crucial for a company like Banco?
So think of auditors as the independent watchdogs of the financial world.
Okay.
Their job is to scrutinize Banco's financial statements and make sure everything is accurate and in compliance with regulations.
Right.
This helps protect investors and ensure the company is operating transparently.
And the report even goes into detail about the selection criteria for the audit firm,
Yeah, they do.
emphasizing their knowledge, expertise, and industry experience.
It's important stuff.
It is.
It seems like Banco is taking this responsibility very seriously.
Absolutely. This level of transparency is crucial for building trust
Yeah.
with investors and stakeholders. It shows that they're not just picking any random firm,
Yeah, right.
but are carefully considering who they entrust with this critical oversight role.
100%.
Speaking of transparency, the report also delves into Banco's commitment to strong corporate governance practices. Why is this so important, especially for a global company like Banco?
Good corporate governance. It's like the foundation of a well-run company.
Oh, yeah.
It's about ensuring ethical conduct accountability
Right.
and responsible decision-making. This is particularly important for a company like Banco
Yeah.
that operates in multiple countries and has a complex web of subsidiaries and stakeholders.
It sounds like they're trying to build a culture of integrity from the top down.
Yeah, I think so.
What specific policies are highlighted in the report?
One that caught my eye is the vigil mechanism,
Okay.
more commonly known as the whistleblower policy.
Okay, yeah.
It encourages employees and directors to report any unethical behavior or potential fraud without fear of reprisal. This is a vital component of any robust corporate governance framework.
It creates a sense of safety for people who might otherwise be afraid to speak up.
Definitely.
And it sends a strong message that Banco is serious about doing things the right way.
Absolutely.
Now, in addition to the whistleblower policy, the report also highlights the director's nomination, appointment, and remuneration policy.
Yeah, that's a key one.
Can you explain what that entails?
So this policy outlines the process for selecting, appointing, and compensating the company's board of directors.
Okay.
It's all about ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in how the board is constituted.
Right.
And how directors are rewarded for their contributions.
So it's about making sure the right people are in the right roles.
Yes.
And that their incentives are aligned with the best interests of the company and its shareholders.
Exactly.
Now, beyond just internal governance, the report also touches on Banco's commitment to corporate social responsibility, or CSR.
Yes.
What's their approach in this area?
Banco seems to be going above and beyond in this area.
Oh, really?
They've actually exceeded their required CSR spending for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. This suggests a deeper commitment to social impact than just ticking the boxes.
That's really interesting. What kind of CSR initiatives are they involved in?
They're focused on a range of areas, including education, healthcare, and community development. This indicates a holistic approach to CSR, addressing a variety of social needs and aiming to make a positive contribution to the communities where they operate.
It's like they're trying to integrate social responsibility into their DNA.
Yeah.
Not just treat it as a separate side project. Yeah. So we've got a company with a global reach, solid financial performance, and a clear focus on ethical practices and social responsibility.
It paints a good picture so far.
It does. But what does this all mean for potential investors? Should they be impressed?
It's certainly a compelling picture, but to really understand the full story, we need to dive deeper into the numbers. The management discussion and analysis section will give us a more nuanced view of the company's financial health, the challenges they face, and their strategies for the future.
And that's exactly where we're headed next.
Can't wait.
Stick with us as we unravel the complexities of Banco's operations and see if their actions truly live up to their words.
It's going to be interesting.
It is. Welcome back to our deep dive into Banco Products India Ltd.
All right, let's get back into it.
We've already uncovered some fascinating insights about their global reach, commitment to ethical practices, and impressive CSR initiatives.
A lot to like so far.
There is. But now it's time to roll up our sleeves and delve into the heart of their financial performance. We need to go beyond the headlines and see what the numbers really tell us.
Let's crunch some numbers.
All right, let's do it. The report highlights the management discussion and analysis section as a key source of insights. What exactly can we learn from this section?
So think of the section as the story behind the numbers. It gives us a qualitative assessment of their financial health, the challenges they face, and their strategies for the future. It helps us understand the why behind their financial performance.
So it's like reading between the lines of the balance sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that jumped out at me was the breakdown of their sales. They seem to generate a significant portion of their revenue domestically.
You're right to pick up on that. The report shows that their sales within India reached 727 crores last fiscal year. That's roughly 73% of their total sales.
Wow.
It seems like having a strong foothold in their home market is a key part of their strategy.
But they're not neglecting international markets either.
No, they're not.
They've maintained steady export sales despite all the global headwinds we've seen lately.
Exactly. And that's where their subsidiary in the Netherlands comes into play.
Okay.
Netherlands' Radiator Fabric BV.
Right.
It seems to be a crucial part of their global footprint.
Yeah, it allows them to tap into European markets.
Yes.
And diversify their revenue streams.
So it's like a two-pronged approach.
Okay.
A solid domestic foundation combined with a strategic international presence.
This balance seems to be serving them well,
Yeah.
especially in these uncertain economic times.
Yep. It's a classic strategy for mitigating risk.
Makes sense.
But it's not just about geographic diversification. Banco is also investing heavily in technology to stay ahead of the curve.
I noticed that too. They're using advanced software for product simulation development and engineering.
Yeah, you've got to keep up with the times.
You do.
They're also leveraging SAP, a leading enterprise resource planning system.
Right.
This tells me they're serious about innovation and operational efficiency.
Yeah.
In today's fast-paced manufacturing landscape, you can't afford to fall behind technologically.
Right.
These investments suggest they're taking a proactive approach to staying competitive.
It's like they're building a digital backbone for their operations.
Exactly.
This focus on technology could be a key differentiator for them in the long run.
I think so.
Now let's shift gears and talk about corporate governance.
Okay.
We touched on this earlier, but the report goes into more detail about the role of the audit committee.
Yeah, they're the ones responsible for overseeing financial reporting, making sure everything is above board. It's a pretty important job, wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
Think of them as the guardians of transparency and accountability. They scrutinize the company's financial statements, assess the effectiveness of internal controls, and ensure compliance with regulations.
They're there to protect investors and maintain public trust.
Exactly.
And the report mentions they also play a key role in reviewing related party transactions, which can be a sensitive area for investors. What exactly does this involve?
So related party transactions refer to any dealings between the company and entities or individuals who have a close relationship with the company.
Like directors or major shareholders?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
These transactions can sometimes raise concerns about conflicts of interest or unfair advantages.
So the audit committee is there to make sure everything is done at arm's length.
Yes.
And that these transactions are in the best interest of the company and its shareholders.
Precisely. They need to ensure transparency and fairness.
Okay.
The report mentions that the audit committee has given omnibus approval.
What does that mean?
For certain types of related party transactions. This essentially means they've pre-approved a category of transactions.
Got it.
As long as they fall within predetermined criteria and don't exceed a certain threshold.
So it's not a free-for-all?
No.
There are still checks and balances in place?
Exactly. It's about streamlining the process for routine transactions while still maintaining oversight.
Okay.
The audit committee reviews these transactions regularly to ensure they remain within acceptable bounds.
Another aspect of corporate governance that caught my attention was the director's nomination appointment and remuneration policy. What's the significance of this policy?
This policy is all about ensuring fairness and transparency in how the company's board is constituted and how directors are compensated.
Okay.
It lays out the criteria for selecting and appointing directors, as well as determining their remuneration.
Got it.
This is crucial information for shareholders because it gives them insight into the process and helps them assess whether it aligns with good corporate governance practices.
So it's about making sure that the people running the company are chosen based on merit.
Exactly.
And that their pay is aligned with their performance and responsibilities.
That's the idea.
Transparency in this area is key for building trust with investors.
Absolutely.
Speaking of directors, there's a detail in the report about Mr. Tarak Patel, who joined the board on February 5th, 2024. What's interesting about his appointment?
His background stands out.
Oh, yeah.
He's listed as having expertise in assessment of skill plans and succession planning.
Interesting.
This suggests a forward-thinking approach to board composition and leadership development.
It seems like Banco is taking steps to ensure they have the right skills and experience on their board, not just for today, but for the future as well.
It's like they're playing a long game. Thinking about the company's leadership pipeline and making sure they have a strong bench of talent ready to step up when needed.
That's a sign of a well-managed company.
I agree.
Now let's circle back to Banco's commitment to social responsibility.
Okay.
We touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth digging a little deeper.
Sure.
Their CSR initiatives are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The report mentions they exceeded their mandatory spending requirement for the 2023-2024 fiscal year.
It did.
But what does that actually mean in terms of real-world impact?
They're not just writing checks.
Okay, good.
They're actively engaged in initiatives related to education, healthcare, and community development.
So they're actually making a difference.
Yeah, they're investing in programs that aim to create tangible, positive change in the communities where they operate.
Wow.
This goes beyond philanthropy. It's about integrating social impact into their core business strategy.
It's like they're trying to be a force for good in the world, not just a profit-making machine.
I think so.
It's a refreshing approach, especially in today's world, where so many companies are focused solely on the bottom line.
This commitment to social responsibility is likely to resonate with investors.
Yeah.
Who are increasingly factoring in ESG.
Right. Environmental, social, and governance factors when making investment decisions.
It's becoming a key differentiator for companies that want to attract a broader range of investors.
It seems like Banco is ahead of the curve in this regard.
They do seem to be.
They're demonstrating that it's possible to be both profitable and purpose-driven.
And that's a powerful message to send to the market.
It is.
Now, while we've covered a lot of ground today, there's still one piece of the puzzle we need to explore. Banco's subsidiary companies.
That's right.
We've talked about their Dutch subsidiary, but the report mentions several others.
Yeah.
How do these subsidiaries fit into Banco's overall strategy?
Right.
And what kind of impact do they have on the group's performance?
That's a great question.
And it's exactly what we'll be diving into in our final segment.
Okay.
Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities of Banco's subsidiary network and uncover the key factors driving their success.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on quite a journey.
We have.
Through Banco Products India Ltd's financial performance, their commitment to strong corporate governance, and even their impressive efforts in social responsibility.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive so far.
It has. And now, in this final act, we're glooming in on a crucial element of their global success, their network of subsidiary companies.
Okay, let's talk subsidiaries.
You know, it's easy to gloss over these subsidiaries when you're looking at a company's overall performance. But they often hold the key to understanding a company's true reach and strategic advantages.
100%. I mean, you can learn a lot about a company by looking at their subsidiaries.
You can.
And in Banco's case, these subsidiaries aren't just passive players.
Okay, good.
They're actively contributing to the group's growth and diversification.
The report highlights one subsidiary in particular, Netherlands Radiatoren Fabriek BV in the Netherlands.
Yes, that's a key one.
Why does this one stand out?
Well, for starters, it's a key player in Banco's European expansion strategy.
Okay.
It allows them to manufacture and distribute their heat transfer products directly within the European market.
So it gives them a local presence.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always a good thing.
It is. It not only gives them a competitive edge, but also allows them to tap into local expertise and talent.
It's like having a strategic outpost in a key market.
Yeah, exactly.
But it sounds like Netherlands Radiatoren Fabriek BV is doing more than just maintaining a presence in Europe.
Right.
The report hints at some initiatives they've undertaken in production, marketing, and distribution.
Exactly. They're not just sitting back and riding the wave.
Good.
They're actively seeking growth opportunities and optimizing their operations.
Okay.
And the report expresses optimism that these initiatives will yield positive results in the coming years.
That's a good sign for Banco and its investors.
I think so.
It suggests that the subsidiary is a dynamic force within the group and a potential engine for future growth.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch.
It is. Now, beyond just Netherlands Radiatoren Fabriek BV, the report also sheds light on their other subsidiaries.
Yeah, there are a few others.
What can you tell us about them?
While the specifics are limited,
Right.
we do know that these subsidiaries play a diverse range of roles,
Okay.
contributing to Banco's overall business in various ways.
So they're all part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Some might be focused on specific product lines, while others might specialize in certain geographic markets,
Right.
or even provide support services for the group.
It sounds like a complex web of interconnected operations.
It is. It's a global operation.
It makes you wonder how they manage to keep everything running smoothly
Yeah.
and ensure that all these subsidiaries are working towards the same goals.
That's where the concept of material subsidiaries comes in.
Okay.
The report mentions that Banco has a process for identifying these subsidiaries.
All right, so they have a system.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the ones that have a significant impact on the group's financial performance or operations.
So it's about prioritizing oversight.
Yeah.
And making sure the subsidiaries that really matter are getting the attention they deserve.
Exactly. It's a way of focusing their resources and ensuring alignment with the overall group strategy.
It's like a conductor leading an orchestra.
Yes.
Perfect analogy.
You need to make sure all the instruments are playing in harmony to create a beautiful symphony.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Banco's long-term vision.
Okay.
What clues does the report offer about their future direction?
Well, they make it clear that they're committed to sustainable growth.
Okay.
And they're not just talking about financial performance.
Right. It's about more than just the bottom line these days.
It is. They're also focused on social impact and environmental responsibility.
It's like they're trying to build a business that's not just successful, but also makes a positive contribution to the world.
I think that's the goal for a lot of companies these days.
It seems to be.
They highlight the importance of innovation and staying ahead of technological advancements in their industry.
Right.
They see this as crucial for their long-term competitiveness and for creating value for their stakeholders.
And they're not just relying on internal efforts.
No.
They mention strategic partnerships and collaborations as key drivers of growth.
Yeah, collaboration is key in today's world.
It is.
In today's interconnected world.
Right.
Leveraging external expertise and networks can accelerate innovation and open up new markets.
Exactly.
It shows they're open to new ideas and willing to work with others to achieve their goals.
So after taking this deep dive into Banco Products India Ltd, what's your overall impression?
I'm impressed.
You are?
I am.
Would you say they're a company worth keeping an eye on?
Absolutely. They've got a lot going for them.
Good.
They're financially sound, committed to ethical practices and social responsibility. And they're taking a strategic approach to global expansion and innovation.
It sounds like they're ticking all the boxes.
Yeah. They seem to be a company that's not just focused on short-term gains,
Right.
but on building a sustainable and responsible business for the long haul.
I agree. It's been a fascinating journey exploring their annual report.
It has.
They're definitely a company to watch.
I think so.
And for our listeners, as you encounter other companies or investment opportunities, remember to ask yourself, are they just chasing profits, or are they genuinely trying to make a positive impact?
That's a great point to leave our listeners with.
It is.
It's a question worth pondering.
It is a question worth pondering.
And it highlights the evolving landscape of investment,
Right.
where financial returns are no longer the sole measure of success.
Exactly.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.